Hi, in this video we'll take care of you and I'll show you my current Clionadh stained glass collection. I used to have almost all the shades and I decluttered most of them because they were too similar. So based on my real experience, I will show you what I've decluttered, what I think is the best purchase. We will go through all the finishes and I've also prepared for you a buying guide that is a PDF with all the finishes and all the shades that are categorized. I will share with you my real experience, and also, as you can see, we have a beautiful natural lighting, so I will show you the shades that I have with natural lighting, so without any enhance from studio lighting or artificial lighting. You will see the shades as they do appear in real life. This video is of course not sponsored. Everything is purchased by me. These are Terra Moon's shades that I will cover in a future video. First of all, this is an Adept Cosmetics palette. This is amazing. It's amazing quality, so I highly recommend Adept Cosmetics to store your Clionadh. I wanted the Clionadh palette. I couldn't get it. It was not in stock when I placed my order. What I want you to notice is that you see there are some shades that are they are staining the lid of this magnetic palette, and the reason is that these shades are made in small batches and they are not always equal. Yeah, I believe it's this one. You see, it's kind of domed, and this is the one that stained the lid the most. So you get a bit of variability with these shades. Let's dive in the different finishes. Let's start with the old finishes, and then I will show you also the new additions, because on August 8th, Clionadh is releasing 46 new shades, and I'll show you them. So of course I don't have them. I do not receive anything from the brand, so I will show you images from the Clionadh Instagram page. So the first ones are the Jewelled Multichromes. These are 20 pieces, so there are 20 colors in this finish, and this is the regular multichrome, the first multichromes with the dark base. I have to say that these are the most expensive ones, and honestly they are my favorite. A lot of people do like the glitter multichromes the most, but I like the Jewel Multichromes the best. I'll tell you why in a minute. Yeah, let me put it this way. Okay, these ones are all Jewelled Multichromes, and it's the category I have the most of them because this is my favorite. As I said, a lot of people like the glitter multichromes, but in my case I prefer the Jewel Multichromes. Why? Because I believe, I think, in my opinion, these Jewel Multichromes are where Clionadh really excels compared to other brands. Some of these colors are nowadays common. These Jewel Multichromes with the black base are the first multichromes that have been released, and so there are more traditional multichromes, but Clionadh excels in the sense that Clionadh multichromes are the most shiny. They are the best executed, are the best in the market in my opinion. And on top of that, there are some shades here that are quite unique. So let's start with this. This is Burnish, and yeah, I struggled a lot with this shade because I couldn't find reliable swatches with this. I remember when I was looking for this and I was trying to decide between Burnish or Vermeil or other shades that were similar, I couldn't find reliable swatches. So let's hope that I'll show you better now. I will not read the official description. I'll tell you what I detect in real life, and I hope that you will see what I'm describing. So this is a shade that is truly multichrome. It has a dark base that I'll show you in a minute, and it has a orange shift, and orange and green. The green here is antique gold green, is not a lime green. The shift here is towards orange, orange peach. So if you blend out on my fair skin this shade, it will be gray, you know, and that is the reason why these multichromes sometimes are not popular, because a lot of people complain about this black base, but I like it. And the secret is not to blend this shade. I tend to pack the pigment and do not blend it, and that is the best way, because you then see the richness of the shade and the real shift, the multichrome, without, you know, dispersing the color, because once you blend it you lose all the multichrome property. So it doesn't make sense to shear this out. If you want to shear it out, use a colored matte. Do not try to shear it out this shade. It's not self-blending. This is one of my favorite because I can use it also in the office, because it's not shifting indie. Let's use this new word, the indie shift. It's not indie shift, you see. It goes towards peach orange and a muted green, and for that reason is very wearable. This is another color that I wanted to declutter at a certain point. It's smolder, but then I decided to keep it, and the reason is that it's amazing. And honestly, why I wanted to declutter it, because this is a bit indie in the sense that it's too bright. Where I'm going with this shade but I assure you I tend to use this as liner. I do not use all over the lid. For me it's too much. I'm not 20 years old anymore, and there's no sense for me to use this kind of shade all over. It would be too bright, not my taste. I mean, if it is yours, it's actually personal preference. This is for a night out for me, when I want to have something bold and you know, but I will use it as an accent, as a liner, as a detail on my eyes. I want to do an overall lid, and this is so shifty that you can do that, because there are some shades, even this one, this is more all over the lid shade, because yeah, it shifts, but the shift is not so prominent. But with this shade, then the shift is more evident. I need to change inclination for you to be able to see them, maybe, but you see how it shifts here. And since it's so visible, even if you have a thin line, the multichrome effect will be noticeable. This is Sandblast. Let me check. I know these shades. I mean, I studied so much all the Clionadh offer. This is Sandblast, and this is another wearable color. I'm not new, I'm not the parvenu, you know, with Clionadh shade. I placed my first Clionadh order in April 2019, so when the stained glass was first released. So I'm a customer from the beginning, and I was already a customer from Clionadh before that, so I really know the brand. To be honest, these three, Smolder, Sandblast and Kill, that will be next one, these are not my shades, and you may know by this point because they are too warm and reddish. However, in my first order I wanted to decide between these two, and as you can see, then I could not decide, and then I ended up picking them both. But I have to say, if you want something more wearable, go for this. This is a stunning varnish orange with, you know, this shift, this green shift, it again is a deep green, so it's not a bright lime green that screams indie for me. So this is again wearable. You see, this is the maximum shift, so it goes from red, you see, to green, but it's more a olive green, and that makes it portable. I think you'll better see here the shift of both, of all of them, I have to say. Here we have burnish at the top, then smolder, and then sandblast, and you can really see the shift of sandblast. We can say that sandblast is a richer orangey version of burnish, that here seems more green, is lighter. Okay, let's proceed with kiln. This is kiln. Sometimes you have the Clionadh logo that is worn out. Honestly, I don't use these shades so frequently that it's more than if you don't see the logo. Sometimes it goes away when you extract the pen from paper envelope that it comes with when you purchase the shade. Other times it's just that they are so fragile that it happens. So this is kiln. This is more shifty. And yeah, here it seems like something in the middle between the two is more reddish. Yeah, let's try to rotate it. Yeah, you can see better here the shift. I don't use a lot kiln, and it's more because yeah, I don't gravitate towards these shades, but it's so beautiful that I wanted to keep it. This is one of my favorite shades, and this is Weld, and the reason why it's one of my favorite is because of this neutral shade. Oh my gosh. Okay, I ruined my Weld. It happens. Hopefully I have to clean everything now. This is Weld. Let's use this pigment, and yeah, I'm already wasted a lot of money here. This is a big swatch of Weld. Hopefully you will see it in all its glory, and then I need to wash everything before I ruin all the other shades here. It's the warm weather, I think, that has dried down the shade. This actually is a recent purchase because Weld was not one of the first shades in the first release. I need to stop, clean everything, and anyway, this is Weld, and there's a lot of green. It's kind of indie green, you can say, because there's this lime green here, but I think it's nice because what saves this shade compared to other greens that I haven't purchased is the presence of this pink hue, this pink shift here that makes it wearable. Okay, I'm back. I cleaned everything. Let's recap: burnish, smolder, sandblast, kiln, and Weld. See here how it is green. I think that this is still a bit too much. In real life, I can assure you that this is even brighter of a green for every day. I never use it at the office, honestly. It's a bit too much because the green is predominant anyway. I would have liked something like this neutral color without that green, and honestly I have it. I will show with another brand. I will show you. This is Oculus, you see, and this is close to the single shade that Pat McGrath released yeah, a few months ago. It's a teal shifting purple, so you have a bit of green, blue, purple. Let's watch it here. This is an indie shade. I mean, you know, the mermaid color, not really wearable. Again, this together with Smolder for me is an accent shade. Then is Spire. This is Spire, and it's a blue leaning purple. This is the least shifty, but I really like this tone of blue. It shifts purple, you see, reddish purple, but you have this rich ultraviolet blue, and it's very shiny. It's a very well done shade. So here you have them. This is my range of Jewelled Multichromes, and this is actually obviously what I recommend for this range. There are a lot of other shades that are similar, a lot of greens that are too green for my liking, other golds. This leans orange, so it's warmer, and I think it's the best one of the three, because there are three actually in the range. These are the ones that I recommend. These are the shades in direct sunlight. See how shiny they are, even if you don't see the shift with this particular lighting, but my gosh, how shiny. You see, like jewels. And yeah, it's not the case, they're called Jewelled Multichromes. This, I think, it's light condition where you can see the shift the most. Maybe you see that oculus that shifts purple. Okay, here you can see the magic of Smolder. That is the second shade from the top. You see how it shifts from green, that again is a muted green, and then gold, and then purple. And this is the shift why I kept Smolder. Here I don't see a lot of that magenta that we saw before. You see that burnish, that here leans, the shift is green, is a muted lime green, but still muted, so wearable for me. The third shade below Smolder is a Sandblast, that here is more gold copper, and then you have below that Kiln, that goes from gold to orange to red. Then you have Weld, and this is the least favorite shifting of Weld. In this light condition, you see that lime green, that is indie for me. I would say it's an indie shift that for me is too much. The pink does not appear here, and this is what I don't want for my eyes. It's too bold and edgy. The bottom two is oculus, that goes from purple to light blue to teal, and Spire actually is only purple and ultraviolet blue. You see, so it's the least shifting. Spire, and so the bottom one Spire and the top one burnish are the least shifty. The most shifty are Smolder, so the second from the top, and I have to say Kiln, so the fourth from the top, and then the second to last, that is Oculus. Those are the shiftier ones. So now let's see a comparison with Natasha Denona, what was this? Infra Nude. This actually is my everyday multichrome. Here maybe. I think it's close to Weld, but without that strong green. So here it doesn't seem the same, but actually Natasha Denona one shifts green. Let's swatch also the Pat McGrath. So the classical Pat McGrath comparison is with this multichrome. This was from Buiyng Rose 2, and then with the Utopian Dream palette. and it's this one. So let's put it here, and then the shade from I want to compare with the smolder, so this is from Divine Rose 2. You can see how much much more wearable is this, and for me it's already too much. And the reason is that the magenta one is muted, more muted compared to this. And I have to say that Pat McGrath, it's a muted version of smaller, but you can see that there's also some affinity with Weld. And the difference is that this doesn't switch to a very rich green like Weld did. So this is even more wearable than Weld. And all of the Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona are more wearable compared to Clionadh. So here you can see on the top Pat McGrath shade from Utopian Dream palette. I would say can be a muted version of Kiln, you see. And below that, the shade in the middle is Natasha Denona Infra Nude. And you can see how much golden he is compared to Weld. I don't see close dupes here. You see that switches green, the shifts green, the Natasha Denona one, but is more a yellow lime green, still muted. I mean, I use the Natasha Denona one for work. It's the only shade that I use for work, together with Pat McGrath shade from Utopian Dream. And you can see that the Clionadh shades have more vibrancy compared to the ones from mainstream brands. You see how Ars Extraterrestrial shifts green like Weld with certain lighting. It's the closest to Weld maybe in terms of how muted the pink is and the tone of green shift. My favorite of these is Natasha Denona Infra Nude because it's more wearable, and then I like Smolder a lot from the Clionadh shades, and Oculus and Spire are also must-haves for me. Another consideration from my experience, when I placed my first order with Clionadh, a lot of people said, okay, skip these Jewelled Multichromes because they are the most expensive ones, and they are black based, and they are metallic and not glittery, and it's much better to go for the glitter multichromes. I would rather go for these jeweled multichromes, and the reason is that the shift is more prominent, because one of the drawbacks of all of these Clionadh shades is that with the jeweled multichromes you really have the shifts with the shift among different colors, while with the glitter multichromes or hybrid or other type of finishes, sometimes they are more duochromes than multichrome. It's even questionable why do they call them multichrome. You may see shifts with artificial light or studio lighting, but in real life you probably won't see those shifts. You will see only 1-2 colors. So in order to appreciate as we have seen the shifts in real life, I would recommend these colors, this series of the Jewelled Multichromes. They are the most expensive for a reason. So let's talk about the glitter multichromes. There are now 29 different colors, and the ones that I signed with the new are the new shades that are going to release on August 8th. They are very popular, and most people say that are better than Pat McGrath. I would say that they are maybe the most comparable to Pat McGrath in the sense that they are glittery. I only have 2 shades from this series, that is Blades, this pink one, that is one of my favorite shades and one of the best value, Blades. This is a must-have for me, and this I believe is Opulent. is Opulent, you see, and it's another great shade. This one is Enamel. So these three are my glitter multichromes. I used to have much more than these. I declutter most of mine, and the reason is, for me, at least this is my opinion, I kept the ones with the colors that I like the most on my eyes. And this, I don't know if I like it, if I like it a lot, but at least it's very unique. But these are very nice on my eyes, neutral shades, I have to say, but I'm not fond of the finish. I also think that Pat McGrath baked shades are superior, and it's very difficult to show you this. Let me try. This is a multichrome, you see, it's Blaze, and for me is a must-have. It shifts orange, peach is more a peach shade, and that leans towards gold. How can I show you in all its glory? You see, you can see from the camera that is, how can we call it? Is it duochrome or multichrome? For me, it's more a multichrome. You see the sparkles here, and it's something that you notice in direct sunlight. Let me show you. I still have these ones. I mean, these have also sparkle. You see Weld, how sparkling it is. Wow. This Blades one is maybe less, it has finer glitters, but you definitely can see them. If you like Clionadh more, you are welcome. I mean, everybody is entitled to have his opinion, but my opinion is that these are superior. The comparison is spot on. It's difficult from the swatch to notice the difference. Let me try in direct sunlight. So what I think you are still able to detect is that the Pat McGrath is more transparent, so it's better as a topper, while the Clionadh is more opaque. And I think that it's the Pat McGrath is more refined, because it's a little bit more difficult for me to make a more transparent shade. That doesn't mean it's not pigmented, it just means that it's better for layering. While the Clionadh, you can, I hope you can tell that it's more opaque. You really don't see it here. It's more shiny and opaque compared to the Pat McGrath that is more translucent. And I think the ear is where you can tell the difference. Now, my experience is that on my eyes, the Pat McGrath is more elegant. I see the difference, and I prefer the Pat McGrath. The pigments are produced by the same brands, and what differs is just the way the pigments are processed to create the eyeshadow. There are some dupes, the Clionadh dupes, where you can dupe those Pat McGrath special shades. And since I have almost all the Pat McGrath big mothership palettes, I decluttered the shades that were too similar. And another thing is that there are some shades that are quite similar to other shades in the same stained glass collection range, with slight variation. For example, there is grisaille, aberration, and carving. I had all of them, and I decluttered all of them because it was a little bit overwhelming for me. And that's another suggestion that I give you. I don't recommend to buy everything, and I know it's very difficult. I hope that with these swatches you will find what you like the most. This is another shade that is called Opulent. It's again a neutral shade because I like that it leans purple taupe with this golden sheen. let me compare straight away with Pat McGrath Utopian Dream palette. That there's this shade here that reminds of that shade. The Pat McGrath is leans more teal, a greenish teal, while Opulent is more muted, but they are close. This is more purple, this is more reddish, but they are quite close. And let me finish with enamel. This is very nice. Maybe I can have a comparison again with Utopian Dream with this shade. So I mean, if you have, so this one and this one are by Clionadh, Blades Opulent Enamel, and these three are special shade. These two special shades from Pat McGrath, baked shades, these two from Utopian Dream, and this one from the Mothership 2 Sublime palette. So I'll provide swatches here now in different lighting. Since this video is already quite long, I will stop here and stay tuned for next episode, where we'll go through all the other finishes, including the new ones. As a gift, you can download for free the complete list of the Clionadh stained glass offering. I prepared a PDF that you can download by follow the link in my description box, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel, that you know is about a conscious and critical overview of the luxury makeup world. So stay tuned for the next episode of the Clionadh stained glass collection that is going to be released with new shades on August 8th. And until then, bye for now.